Yeah, thank you. Some cadets behind, kindly settle down so that we can start the program. Honorable Vice Principal, Lieutenant Colonel Geeta, the Administrative Officer, members of the teaching staff, all the alumni present here, both the senior batches as well as subsequent batches. My dear cadets, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and a very warm welcome from the three musketeers, that is the editing pride of the second decade, to this very august gathering. For the alumni of any institution, any visit to the Armada always turns out to be very nostalgic. This very auditorium where we are sitting, our batches, especially the second decade batches, were witness to its construction. And any visit to the auditorium always brings a rush of fun memories. The second decade batches, most of them, were also fortunate to have been in the school when the founder principal, Lieutenant Colonel Y.R. Puri, was in chair. The 1976 batch to which I belong, we can certainly claim maximum attendance at today's function. So a big cheer for that. So we are almost, I think, 17 of us here today. So before we commence with the function for the uninitiated, let me give a little primer on the untold truths. This series of publications was conceptualized and started by the first decade Annexians. The publication was to be compiled and published in-house by each decade, and it also comprised of 3 volumes. Volume 1, titled Wiki was to cover school journey and incidents. Volume 2, titled Zindagi Kaa Safar, was to cover the life post-school and lessons learned. And volume 3, Alvida, is to cover reflections on life post-retirement. So far, 2 volumes of the first decade and 1 volume of the second decade have been published, and we are here today to dedicate volume 2 of the second decade, Zindagi Kaa Safar. We shall be presenting during the ceremony copies of this book to the school library so that our cadets can benefit from the same. Have you ever wondered how your life shall unfold? What kind of challenges will you face in life and how you shall manage them? Would it not be nice in case you can take a sneak peek into the future? Well, obviously, we know that that's not possible. So therefore, we are here to offer you the next best option. That is, we shall document our experiences and learnings so that you can benefit from our experiences and our successes and our failures. All in all, this series is about setting norms, preserving of legacies, and inspiring futures. In doing so, basically we are sharing our personal professional life journeys and deriving some lessons and learnings out of these so that we are able to inspire the younger generations and also motivate them to reciprocate when they reach the pinnacle of their careers. Going into the book, the first section of the book is titled Ajinkan Ethos. This section has only 2 articles, but mind you, both the articles are worth their weight in gold. The first article of this section, written by Brigadier Kundalkar, gives an interpretation of our school song
and how it perfectly aligns with the Indian Constitution. The second article by Brigadier Anand Thakur narrates the efforts of the 1981 batch to document one of their Ajinkan, one of the second decade Ajinkan heroes, Major Pradeep Tatavade, who was awarded the Kirti Chakra posthumously for his valiant fight against the anti-national elements in Jammu and Kashmir. And I am sure in the days to come, as and when this film is ready and published, you shall get to see that film in this very auditorium and learn your lessons in patriotism and valor. Getting to section 2 of the book. This particular section documents experiences of many of the second decade Ajinkans involving split second decisions and eureka moments which have a lot of great learning value. Generally, when individuals are faced with situations which involve high stakes, it is not uncommon for them to procrastinate. And this is primarily on account of the uncertainties involved. And this may be because of either the urge to protect oneself physically or to protect one's own reputation. In both these cases, one has to realize that life is never a bed of roses, and life shall always keep throwing challenges at you. So, a person with strength of character would always choose to take such challenges head on. And while doing so, basically, in case a person prepares well and leaves some margin for error, he would be able to succeed in life. Now, how do you prepare well? So, one of the ways to prepare well is to learn from others' experiences. So, this is precisely what has been documented in this section. So, just to name a few of the articles, mind you, these are only examples and there are a number of other articles in all the sections that I will be covering. So, an article by Lieutenant General Rajiv Kanetkar, he narrates his tryst with a brain stroke which he suffered about 2 years back, and how he managed to come out of that brain stroke successfully. This is contained in his story. The next next story by Lieutenant General Rajendra Nimborkar, he lays bare the do or die moments that he faced when tasked to capture an enemy locality in harsh terrain. Commandant Pradeep Salunke, who happens to be present here today, he has narrated his experience in the demanding and very challenging Samudra 3 expedition, sailing expedition which he took up on the high seas. General Vasade and Brigadier Anand Thakur, they have narrated their experience when they are deployed in support of the Indian scientists who undertook the 1998 nuclear explosions. Commander Anil Bole has written a very touching yet enlightening article on the period during which his wife was diagnosed of cancer till the time she succumbed to this deadly disease. Coming to the next section, which is titled Ye Jo Hai Zindagi Musafir Ki Zuban Se. One central point which comes out here, and in my view, sincerity is the core of all virtues. And sincerity manifests variously based on the situations, and it may manifest as integrity or as honesty, team spirit, courage of conviction, fairness, and so on. And if you introspect, you shall find that these are the very qualities which are being imbibed in the cadets at the school. And I can vouch that with these qualities, a number of Ajinkans, in fact most of them, have successfully navigated their life, and they have professionally satisfying careers, as well as they have been able to maintain sanity in their personal lives. So the articles contained in this section talk about these, as well as about how to maintain consistency, discipline, sympathy, and kinship in your dealings. A few examples of the articles which are included in this section. An article by Brigadier S.H. Jadhav describes how he met the challenge of training 3,000 recruits simultaneously in a facility which was equipped to train only 800. This was in the aftermath of COVID, when there were the number of people getting trained in the COVID period had got restricted. So thereafter there was a requirement to enhance the capacity, and how we managed to do it is what is written in this article. Colonel Vesvikar, his article, it describes the sum and substance of discipline, leadership, and resilience in the armed forces. Air Marshal Garud of the 1972 batch, he has written an article on the making of a mural which 1972 batch presented to the school a few years back, and this mural happens to be placed in the India block. If you go and see that mural, you shall realize that the activities which are depicted there are the ones which grant the strength of character and quality of leadership to the students. Brigadier Sunil Bodhe has written an article which very nicely and very subtly explains that your learning never stops in life, that you have to keep on continuously learning, and how he in the process became a doctor. The doctor you see in front of his name, he is not a medical doctor, he is a PhD. So that is why that doctor is put against his name. Another article by Brigadier Suresh Chauhan, he brings out the true practice of secularism in the armed forces, wherein people of different faiths stand together shoulder to shoulder and are ready to sacrifice, even at the cost of their life and limb. They are ready to support each other. Group Captain Ajay Kole, who again is here today, so he has talked about as to how, when tasked with the shifting of an Air Force squadron from the northeast to the southern part of India, how his having been part of the Nagpur party, I hope people understand what Nagpur party is. So the logistics involved in the Nagpur party, how his experience in the Nagpur party, how it helped when he was required to plan the move of an Air Force squadron from the northeast to the southern India. There are such many more interesting stories in this section. The next section, Jeene Ki Raah, the Trailblazers. This section contains stories of some of the second decade Ajinkans who crafted their way to excellence and achieved notable success in their chosen professions. And all these Ajinkyans unequivocally agree on one point, that is, their success is attributable to the never say die Ajinkan spirit which was imbibed in them while at the school. That's a prime factor. Of course, sustained efforts and self-belief. If you go through this section, you will find that the stories contained therein are from all walks of life. So while the school is targeted towards preparing cadets for joining the services, the well-rounded regimen that is followed in the school also ensures that people who do not join the services and choose other professions, they are equally successful in other walks of life. So few examples of stories contained in this section. Lieutenant Colonel, Doctor, now he is a medical doctor by the way, Prakash Chitarkar. So he has described his time at the school, at the Armed Forces Medical College, and subsequently his service in the army, and now his empathetic service in curing cancer amongst children and young adults. The stories of Dilip Dhobade, Mukesh Kole and Deepak Chaudhary highlight the aspect as to how the never say die Ajinkan spirit has helped them, despite multiple challenges and multiple setbacks, to rebound and be successful in their chosen careers. Dr. Uday Kulkarni, he has written an article about why it is important to stand for what is right. His story is about the time when he was appointed as a principal of one of the colleges in Jalgaon, and his appointment was vehemently opposed by the university officials, and there were some court cases which continued for about 2 years, but thereafter once those court cases got settled, so his journey from the time when his appointment as principal was challenged in 2015-16 to his getting the Best Principals Award in 2018-19, that is a story which has been narrated there. Rajendra Kedge, he in fact was on the way, he is again my batchmate. I wonder whether he has reached so far. Of course, he is not, it doesn't matter. So Rajendra Kedge, in his case, he took almost about 2 decades while serving with the central government to realize his calling. But thereafter, today, he is a well-respected and well-recognized lawyer who specializes in indirect taxation. Ashok Sarda's case, again my batchmate, on the other hand, is very, very peculiar. He joined the National Defence Academy, and almost towards the fag end of the training in NDA, he was boarded out on medical grounds, and therefore the clock was reset, and he had to reinvent himself, reskill himself to be successful in the corporate career, which he did. So there are many more such stories in this section. Now, as we graduate from the school and we start our profession, we find our life partners, raise a family, many more near and dear ones get added. So these are of course in addition to your own batchmates with whom you have very strong bonds. So but however, when your family grows, now the family members also become part of the larger Ajinkan fraternity. And what we have seen over the years now is that those bonds continue even after the departure of the Ajinkan for his heavenly abode. So therefore, while we were planning this particular book, an idea came to us as to whether it would be nice to also request some of the family members who have a ringside view of an Ajinkan's journey to contribute some articles. And we realized that this was an idea which was ready to bloom. And we are so happy that we received very instantaneous and positive response to our request. So this particular sections, the musings from the family, contains number of articles from our family members. And all these stories make a very, very interesting read. We also approached some of our mentors, teachers who have again a very complementary view of what the students do. So we approached them to document their experiences as teachers in the school. And again, we are so happy that all the teachers whom we requested, they have all responded with articles which are very interesting, and I am sure some of the teaching staff will find those articles very, very readable. And we also ensured that these set of teachers is different from the one which have already written articles in the volume, that is Decade 1, Zindagi Kaa Safar. Okay, now for some little bit of fun. Oh, is this slide correct or has it come by mistake? Does anyone recognize? I think it's a slide of a junkyard, looks like. No, it's not a junkyard. What you see in front of you is the 6 feet wall of the obstacle course which existed sometime back behind the cadets mess. Now for us, this particular photograph is very, very precious because it reminds us of our times in the school and the various competitions that were held there. And I can visually picturize, we had one of the Brigadier S.S. Jadhav, the little taller fellow, that he used to carry the drum and give it on top of the wall, etc. So this 6 feet wall has seen many and interesting competitions, and I am sure it will evoke a lot of nostalgia amongst all the alumni who are present here. So while we had done the Meethe Yadein earlier, a separate volume, but some people are still either latecomers or there were others who were still thirsty. They still wanted to give some more articles, or rather hungry as well as thirsty. So we received some additional articles for Meethe Yadein, and those articles have been included as a separate section in this volume. That is the Meethe Yadein Annexe. So there are articles by Rajendra Marulkar. Now this article actually got little mixed up and misprinted in the last volume 1. So therefore we have now reprinted the article, and there are articles by Group Captain Ajay Kole, Brigadier Desai and Dr. Prakash Kulkarni. For any document like this, one can go wayward. So it is important that the document is reviewed by a third party. So we have ensured that this document was reviewed by 6 very carefully chosen individuals who gave a number of suggestions, and all those suggestions have been incorporated. And all in all the reviewers were very appreciative of the effort as well as the quality of the content. This is one of the review by Vice Admiral M.S. Pawar, and this review is representative of what all the reviewers had to say. Unlike the Meethe Yadein, which was published last time, I felt that this time we should give a little exposure, some kind of a trailer to cadets so that they become more interested in reading this particular document. So I'm sure it will make a very, very interesting read. So the senior batches, obviously, they get to make use of it immediately, but even the junior batches, if with this little program we are able to, in some corner of your memory, make an impression that, okay, there is some so and so such and such thing, and when the opportune moment comes, you go through it, I am sure you shall benefit out of it. This particular document wouldn't have been possible without the help of the batch coordinators. I am not going to name each of them. Mainly the authors, because it is their story. We have only compiled and put it together. So, and we are of course very, very in deep gratitude to the teachers who mentored us, as well as our family members who tolerated us. And I would here like to, of course, mention a big shout out to Brigadier Kundalkar. He has an amazing ability to give attention capturing titles to various articles. So his focus has always been, Jain, the titles must be nice so that when somebody reads the index, he must be forced to go to that particular article and start reading it. So he has an amazing ability, and more importantly, I think he has burnt more midnight oil than me in proofreading the document. So a big thank you, a big shout out to you, Arvind. All in all, we would like to say, that is we, the contributors to this particular document, we hope that we are able to motivate the other second ticket Ajinkyans to write articles for the next volume, that is the Alvida, as well as motivate ourselves to write articles, activate the subsequent decades to take up their production work, because this is a relay race, it can't stop, it has to continue. So we hope to activate the subsequent decades to take up their production work, and lastly, to inspire the current and subsequent Ajinkan generations to learn from these templates and derive their own lessons. So with that, I will now request Brigadier Kundalkar to kindly come up and give his remarks on the making of the book and take ahead this function. Thank you.
Light louder, what the? Thank you, Jayant. Thank you so much, and you've given me more than my due of praise or anything. It has been a collective effort by mainly the authors. And he has left nothing for me to, cover. He has covered it so beautifully, everything about the project Zindagi Kaa Safar, Volume 2. I can do no better than to give you a bit of glimpse in the emotional passages or emotions of the authors who have contributed to this, this project. Before I start reading something from the book, and I'll just take 10 minutes. I know by now many of the students would have been already dozing, but I'll try to wake you up with these passages. So, there is a share by Gulzar, which I don't remember the exact words, but in English, he says that people appreciate the words of my shares or my lyrics. I try to put my emotions, and words are only the medium, But alas, everyone appreciates the words and don't go deep into the emotions. So, since Jayant has told me to kind of give a little bit of idea as to how we went about compiling this volume, as I said, 99% credit must go to the contributors, but 1% credit to us also we take ourselves. We tried to convert the emotions into words or better words where the author wanted to express something. And since we belong to the same community, we knew कि जब ये कुछ बोल रहा है तो इसका मतलब ये है, ये बोलना चाहता है. So either we converted that into Marathi or English or whatever, and we said, you want to write in Marathi, English, Hindi, Punjabi, Sanskrit or whatever, just express your emotions as fully as you want to. Share your private moments as much as you want to open up. And I'm so glad that most of us, most of you, and many of them are sitting here today, the contributors, have shared their emotions. अपना झंडा तो सभी ये करते हैं कि और मैंने क्या अचीव किया जिंदगी में, कितने झंडे गाड़े. But before you come to any success, there have been umpteen failures. We don't see failures of the person. I am very glad that many of you have written that when you were down and out, what helped you to come up. So, with this little background, I'll just read a few paras. I'll try not to bore you. I'll just try to read a few interesting paras and then we'll go ahead. Yeah. Okay. Prakash Kadam, who's sitting here, has written an article called as Baptism by Fire, My First Professional Challenge. Okay. He's worked in the civil services, Maharashtra government, and has held many important posts. And he began his tenure as Tehsildar of Kagal in a politically charged landscape of Kolhapur. And I won't go in details, but he was duty bound to hold a confidence motion of one party against another in a Gram Panchayat. And the atmosphere had become very, very, very charged with possibility of violence because one party was hell-bent to obstruct him in conducting the same. Okay. So when he, on the D-Day of the no confidence motion, undeterred, I proceeded to the village with my ADC. To reach the village, we had to travel through Nipani town. After entering Maharashtra border, our way was blocked by a big lorry, which was deserted. Okay, we decided to walk down the remaining distance. After about half an hour, we reached Chikhli. Chikhli is the village, Gram Panchayat, where the meeting was supposed to be held. Okay, only to find a large gathering of villagers literally sleeping on the roads, you know, to block our way, which was okay. About 200 police personnel were deployed with the task of to deal with the potential breakdown of law and order. The situation was inside very tense, and it looked as if the violence could break out any moment. As soon as I started the proceedings, that is the hearing, chaos erupted as stone pelting began from the sugarcane fields, injuring some members. Amidst the mayhem, I stood firm, reading out the no confidence motion. Even as stones rained down on the roof of the office, my ADC was hit and he fainted, but I continued, determined to see justice served. In the end, the no confidence motion was defeated and the villagers celebrated with firecrackers and gulal. This baptism by fire taught me the importance of upholding the law even in the face of grave political turmoil and violence. This is this is one of the narratives, and many such narratives we'll find in the paper. I'll not go through all, I'll just read one more or maybe two more. There is a narrative by Rushank Parvate. Rushank Parvate is the son of, happens to be our batchmate, Nandakishore Parvate, who is blind. Rushank Parvate is blind. He was born with very little vision, and then the vision is almost 99% disappeared. And he is now a 30-odd-year-old young man. But the way, instead of pitting himself, and I much credit must go to his father, the way he challenged the circumstances, overcame, and how he came today. Today he has got already a job of a professor in one of the colleges. He is preparing for Maharashtra MPSC examination. He wants to be an IAS officer, and you talk to him, he is full with confidence. He's poured his heart out in one particular, chapter in this book. And the last one, I will just like to Lieutenant Colonel Prakash Chitolkar, he says he had a dismal record in the school. He had a very good memory. He was very good in academics, but he was what we used to call in old days as Marich. You all understand? Physically very weak, Physically, he said that. Physically very weak. And that's why he had an inferiority complex. He could never meet eye to eye with Ghadge sir. You all have heard of Ghadge sir? Okay? He was a strict disciplinarian. So he could never meet eye to eye with him because he was very good, very weak in sports, nowhere on the ground. So, he says, with my dismal record in sport, I could never see Ghadge sir straight in the eye until one day when he asked me what the matter was. "Tu mere se chup chup ke kyun jata hai hamesha?" When I sheepishly muttered the real reason for avoiding eye contact with him, his take was most remarkable. He smiled encouragingly and said, "तुम 24 घंटा जिंदा इंसान हो, गेम नहीं खेलते तो क्या हुआ?" He says, this one sentence turned his entire life upside down or downside up for the good. Okay? Those magical 12 words were life-changing moments for my self-esteem and motivation. Since then, Ghadge sir's constant motivation and blessing has kept the flames of passion and proficiency burning in me for nearly 6 decades. He is known all over the army as a scholar soldier, and he is globally famous for his skills in oncology. He is a leading oncologist in the world today. So, I thought I'll read, and there are many more hearts out. There is one author who says he opened a business, did extremely well in that. He took up a job, a secure job. He wanted to open a business, went out, totally failed in the business, to the extent that his wife had no money to pay for the scholarship. One of his vendors, when he was doing business, he had a vendor. He took pity on him and he gave him a job in Calcutta. But the job was so low paying. But the vendor was small, he couldn't pay him much. And he couldn't give him a accommodation. So the vendor had accommodated his workers in one of the halls, chota sa hall like this in Calcutta, in a third-rate locality in Calcutta, in the city of Joy. So since he was a supervisor, this man has employed, so he was given the privilege of sleeping in the balcony separately from the authors. But the balcony also was riddled with cockroaches and rats. So there were cockroaches and rats all over the body. And he used to pity himself. He said, just 2 years ago, in this city of joy, I used to stay in 5-star hotels and have a good life. Today, I am sleeping in a room with other workers with rats and cockroaches all over me. He didn't know what to do. In the business, he had already incurred a lot of debt. Because आपको debt लेना पड़ता है ना, कर्जा लेना पड़ता है business. They were lining in his house every day. He didn't have any money. He got his first pay of 25,000 rupees. He said at least, और wife was every day after him, कि स्कूल से बच्चे निकाले जाएंगे, पैसा तो कुछ भेजो. So he left a sigh of little relief कि at least school fees भेजे जाएंगे. But that very day, one of his old employees, a girl, a woman, walked up to him and pleaded with him that her brother is very seriously sick in the hospital, admitted, and she didn't have money. She wanted money, 25,000. He was in a dilemma. He said, wife ko bheju ya isko do. Ultimately, he gave those 25,000 to her. And then he says, I was awake the entire night. What to tell my wife when she calls me up tomorrow morning? When the wife called up, he gave some excuse कि, employer ने ही पगार थोड़ा सा late कर दिया है. But he says, as the luck smiled, next week, he got an offer from his old friend of helping in the business. He took that offer. His vendor himself drove him to the airport, and that business flourished so much that there is no looking back for him today. These are the stories I'll finish with. I will request, and we are very grateful to the contributors, many of them are here today. Can you please come on the stage and, show yourself to the crowd. Please come. All the contributors, all the authors, please come. Don't feel shy. Yeah. Come, everyone. Others. Come. आइए, गुरके. All authors and writers. चलो. हे एक माइक त्यांना सर्क्युलेट ओके.
Hello.
We are so grateful to them, and I request everyone to give a round in your clap. They are here, and many of them have not been able to make it, and we thank them for the lovely, lovely articles that all of them have written. I would request if somebody wants to say something, open up his or her mind, please, you get a chance. Just 1 minute. Like that? It's okay? Yeah. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Avinash Chikte. I'm a retired wing commander. Now I'm a captain with Akasa Air. So, are you all comfortable in English or should I speak Marathi?
English.
मराठी. मी पण असाच होतो. तर एक छोटीशी गोष्ट सांगतो. हे सगळं खूप सिरियस झालं म्हणून सांगतो. मी 11वीत असताना आम्ही तिघं सिलेक्ट झालो होतो NCCसाठी रिपब्लिक डे परेडला जाण्यासाठी. तर तिघांपैकी एकाला पाठवायचं होतं. सो एलिमिनेशन राऊंड चालले होते. एनीबडी हू डझंट अंडरस्टँड मराठी दे विल टेल यू लेटर. यू विल नो फ्रॉम देअर रिॲक्शन. तर NCCवाले आमचे टीचर होते शर्मा सर, हिंदी टीचर होते, आठवत आहे. तर त्यांनी मला प्रश्न विचारला. आता ते हिंदी टीचर होते तेव्हा ते हिंदीत बोलत होते. ये सुनो, एक बच्चा डूब रहा है तो आप क्या करेंगे? मी म्हटलं सर पानी में कूदेंगे, उसको बाहर निकालेंगे. ते म्हटले अच्छा, उसके बाद? तो उसके बाद मला काय माहिती काय उसके बाद. मी म्हटलं उसके बाद? अरे भाई उसके पेट में पानी है, उसको निकालना पडेगा ना. म्हटलं हां, आय हॅड नो आयडिया काय करायचं मला कल्पना नव्हती, पण फिजिक्स शिकलो होतो. मी म्हटलं सर उसकी टांग पकड़ेंगे और गोल गोल घूमेंगे. ते म्हटले अच्छा, उससे क्या होगा? सेंट्रीफ्यूगल फोर्स से पेट का पानी निकल जाएगा. ते बिचारे, आता मला वाटलं हिंदीचे टीचर, त्यांना फिजिक्स कसं माहीत असेल, पण टीचर होता है राइट. ते म्हटले अच्छा बढ़िया है, लेकिन ख्याल रहे पानी के साथ बेचारे की जान भी ना निकल जाए.
जय हिंद टू ऑल ऑफ यू. मी ब्रिगेडियर सुनील बोधे. Whenever I think about Ajinkan, अजिंक्यन क्या है, अजिंक्यन का माइंडसेट क्या है, तो मेरे को एक अंदर से जवाब आता है कि अजिंक्यन इज़ अ स्लीपिंग टाइगर. बहुत होशियार है, बहुत ताकत है, काबिलियत है. ही हैज़ गॉट एवरीथिंग, बट द डैम एनिमल needs to be pushed. He needs to be pushed. धक्का देना पड़ता है. धक्का दे के नहीं मानता है तो लात मारनी पड़ती है. So सारे जो गुरुज है, स्टाफ, टीचर्स वगैरह है, I'll tell you constantly, like in my article I have written, I was a very reluctant learner. मैं क्लास 5 करके स्कूल में आया, एडमिशन इन क्लास 5. आई सेड यार मैंने कुछ भी करूंगा लेकिन पढ़ाई नहीं करूंगा. सो आई स्टार्टेड प्लेइंग. आई फेल्ड इन क्लास 5. सो स्कूल अलाउड मी टू कंटिन्यू because I was in the age group where I could get 3 chances for NDA. So again I did class 5. So how many years in class 5? 3 years. So failure. Started with failure in the school. 2 things I would like to highlight on the kicking part by the teachers. One is the damn English. Chauhan sir, RPS Chauhan sir, he called me when I was in class 11th, just started. So he told me, कि Sunil, you are good in everything, but I want you to speak in English. अपने स्कूल के जितने भी लड़के हैं, सभी की सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम क्या है? English. Okay. So this is the place where he made me sit, and I was the compere or the anchor for the debate competition. And I'm telling you, I don't know what I did, but the whole school used to laugh at me. और जबरदस्त laugh at me कि अरे बोले English बोल रहे. So he kicked me, and the other person who kept on kicking us was Ghadge sir. So he actually kept that tiger alive in us. So once again, I'm very grateful and extremely grateful to the editorial team, and both of them happened to be working together with me. So once again, sir, a word of thanks to all of you and the gratitude, and to the respected principal in absentia, the vice principal and Adam officer for lovely event that they have hosted us here.
I'll now request the only lady author here, representing everybody, all clan, to say a few words.
सैनिक स्कूलबद्दल मी काय सांगणार, खूप काही सांगण्यासारखं आहे, पण शब्दात मांडणं खूप अवघड आहे. मी एक छोटीशी कविता म्हणून दाखवते त्याच्यावर. शब्द अमृताचे बोल, शब्द अमृताचे बोल, नाही याला अंतपार. खेळ हा सारा शब्दांचा, साऱ्या जीवनाचे सार. शब्द अमृताचे बोल, शब्द अमृताचे बोल, शब्द मोठे अनमोल. मनी रुजती खोल, त्याचे करावे मूल. शब्द अमृताचे मूल, शब्द अमृताचे बोल. शब्द भिडे हृदयाशी, शब्द भिडे जोडशी, शब्द भिडे हृदयाशी, शब्द जोडती मनाशी. शब्द जोडती जनासी. शब्द अमृताचे बोल, शब्द अमृताचे बोल. भावनांनी दबलेले कसे, जणू फेसाळलेल्या सागरा समभासे. शब्द अमृताचे बोल, शब्द अमृताचे बोल. वापरावे थोडे जपून. शब्द अमृताचे बोल, वापरावे थोडे जपून. पडू नये आपल्यामुळे कोणासही कोडेफार. पडू नये आपल्यामुळे कोणासही कोडेफार. शब्द अमृताचे बोल. थँक्यू.
Thank you, ma'am. She was Mrs. Sunita Bodhe, and thank you so much, ma'am. Nice. Anyone else? कुछ बोलना है? Sure. Nandgaonkar, anything?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. I'll just, I'm Colonel Nandgaonkar. I served 30 years in Indian Army. I commanded an air defense regiment at Dehu Road, Poonch, Surankot, and then back to Gwalior. During my tenure as a commanding officer, earlier also I had served there as a staff officer at DQ in Poonch Brigade, and then later as a commanding officer for road opening parties. So I'll just highlight two incidences which were the turning points. First, I was to go for a conference in Akhnur, which is about 240 kilometers from Poonch. So early morning we started, so around 5 o'clock, 6:37, somehow drivers felt a little sleepy and they hit the road. There was a big boulder on the road, he hit that, and the jeep turtled 4 times, and we landed in the riverbed. I was sitting on the front seat, driver was on the right side, and then behind me was my personal protection. So what happened? I had landed there with my feet outside from the screen. The glass was broken, I was half semi-conscious. The person sitting behind, he was also a little unconscious, and the driver, he managed to jump during the second turning point. So finally we were evacuated to the hospital. I stayed in ICU for about 20 days. I had a knee injury, and there was about 5-6 inches cut on my calf. My both hands were, semi-paralyzed, but over a period of time I managed to revive and then came back again to the same appointment. My commander was hesitant initially whether to continue or not, but fortunately he got changed and then someone else came. I toured the entire area and then came back. What is that? It was the spirit during the Seni school that you can do anything. So that was always there. The second incident which I want to highlight as a commanding officer was we were coming down after there was there is a monthly salary distributed to all the Jawans in a unit. So I had carried a protection party with me and then I was traveling. There is a highest point in the that area, that is BG, Bimbar Gali. So my adjutant was there, so he said, I don't have protection. There was almost a cash worth about 2 crores. So I left my protection jeep and this thing, and then I started descending down in my own vehicle. So as we approached my unit headquarters, just short of that, there were 2 militants hiding. One was guiding from the top with the wireless set, and another was hiding in the bush. As luck would have it, there's something happened at the on top. My adjutant said my CO should not go alone. So he sent me that, kept 2-3 guards, and he sent the jeep. there was a LNG person standing on the top, on the front side. And then just prior to the incident, one turn before that, he just crossed and went ahead of me. As we approached one of the turning points, that militant fired, emptied 3 magazines of AK-47. Now, we stopped the vehicle, but one burst came and hit there is a light on top of the jeep. So it hit that, and that entered our jeep. Now, I was sitting on one side, the driver was here. That burst came in between. Luckily, I got saved. The driver also got saved, but one of the bullets got hit to the person who was sitting behind as a protection. We stopped the vehicles. We came out, and by then, so the person who was hiding, he has finished his 3 magazines, 90 rounds. Then he came rushing in front, and then he was holding a hand grenade in his hand with the pin taken out. The other person who was in front, my protection guard commander, he fired a burst of volley against him, and that hit his head, and then his grip on the hand got loosened, and that got burst, and in the process he died. So it is a just question of split second, 5-10 seconds, and the whole incident got over. But it was a miraculous escape. Thereafter, I continued my portion there, and then back to Dehu Road here again. Later on, after 30 years, I shifted back in the civil, did some courses, and then I specialized in financial management. So I have written an article on that also. There is a book called Psychology of Money, written by Morgan Housel. I request, whenever you get time, please read that, or try and get a personal copy. It just costs 250-300 rupees, but it will help you in long run how your finances should be there. We all join armed forces, firstly to serve nation, also it helps you in making your livelihood. So my suggestion is, everyone in the school may not be able to get to the armed forces, but you should be financially wise as you grow up. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Aryu. Thank you, Nangaonkar. By the way, Colonel Aryu Nangaonkar has been very good in PT throughout his life, physical training. He's been a PT Blue, just correct me if I am wrong, PT Blue in the NDA, and of course continued in the IMA. And today you can see, most of us have developed paunches, but he is straight, now about to touch 70, all of us. Okay, thank you. We would have loved to continue with these beautiful stories, but for the shortage of time. So, we again thank all of you and those who are not present here for the wonderful contributions. We now would like to present copies of the books. Could I book the copies, sir? To the school as our gratitude, as well as for all of us to go through. Now, may I request the Vice Principal, Lieutenant Colonel Geeta Mahadik, to come up on the stage to accept the gift of a book, and may I request Mr. Sambhaji Pawar sir to present the gift to the Vice Principal. Next, may I request the respected admin officer, squadron leader, Shami Sandhir to come up and accept the gift, and I request Amar Jadhav sir to come up to present the gift to squad leader Shami. Thank you. Next, may I request Senior Master Sir, Mr. Prem Giri to come up now, and Mr. Prakash Kadam to kindly present the gift, the book, to Mr. Gay. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Do we have the library, sir, here? Please come up. May I request Commandant Pradeep Salunke to present the gift? Thank you so much. I request you to again go to your seats. Thanks. Jayan, what this thing, principal's address now. Here we come to the highlight, top highlight of the program, the principal's address. We are unfortunate or unlucky today that the principal is not here physically with us, but we are grateful to the vice principal for agreeing to read his message on this occasion. Please.
Jai Hind. Respected Chief Guest, Honorable alumni of the school, esteemed faculty members, my dear cadets, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm good afternoon to you all. It is indeed a pride for us that we are here today for a special occasion, a dedication of a memoir written by our distinguished alumni of Sainik School, Satara. This is not just a book, it is a time capsule, a collection of memories, reflections, experiences penned by multiple alumni who walked through these very corridors, wore the same uniform, stood in the same morning assembly, and dreamt big under the same sky. But what makes this book truly special is not only memories it holds, but it is the fact that those who wrote it have gone on to serve our country in diverse and meaningful and impactful ways. While many have brought immense pride through their service in armed forces, others have contributed to the nation as administrators, doctors, entrepreneurs, engineers, professors, writers, scientists, and countless other fields. This book is a testament to the breadth and depth of Sainik School Satara legacy. Each chapter, each reflection, each anecdote is a piece of a much larger mosaic, the mosaic of what this institution has nurtured over decades. This book takes us back to the simpler time, to the pranks in the dormitories, the friendly rivalries on the sports field, the endless polishing of shoes, the occasional fear of punishment, the heartfelt letters from home, the bonds that were forged stronger like a steel. These pages capture not only the routine and discipline of cadet life, but also the silent shaping of character, values, and resilience. To the authors of this memoir, I express our deepest gratitude. Through your words, we have not only preserved history, you have revived it. You have invited us into your memories, your mischiefs, your learnings, and your transformation. You have shown us how the Sainik School Satara didn't just give you an education, it gave you a way of life. And in dedicating this book to your alma mater, you have reaffirmed what we always believed, that Sainik School Satara is not just a school, it is a family. A foundation, a compass that continues to guide long after graduation. What stands out most in your writings is not just fondness, but the unshakable bond that connects all of you, regardless of batch, profession, or geography. That shared identity, that deep-rooted brotherhood, the common code of conduct is something rooted that no other school can replicate. This is a legacy we must continue to protect, nurture, and pass on. To our esteemed faculty, both past and present, this book is a tribute to your hard work and dedication. Many of you will find yourself remembered in these pages, perhaps by name, perhaps by your impact. You are more than just teachers. You are mentors, role models, and guiding lights. Let this book remind us all the seeds we plant today will bloom in future. To our alumni at large, this book belongs to you as much as to its authors. It reflects your journey, your emotions, your enduring love for this institution. It is my hope that this inspires more of you to share your stories, your lessons, and your journeys with the generation that follow. As principal, I have a privilege of seeing the past and future come together, of witnessing alumni who return with nostalgia and pride, and the cadets who look up with hope and ambition. Today, both meet in this book. What a powerful meeting it is. In the coming weeks, we will ensure that this book reaches to hands of each cadet. We'll place it in our library as a permanent fixture. We'll host reading sessions, storytelling circles, and discussions around it. Because of this, not a book to be shelved, but it is to be lived. Let us celebrate this book, not just as a literary achievement, but as an embodiment of who we are, where we come from, and what we continue to stand for. To the authors, thank you for remembering. To the school, thank you for shaping. And to the cadets, thank you for continuing the journey. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much for the appreciation and our deepest gratitude to the principal, the vice principal, the administrative officer, all the staff, school staff, for providing this facility and giving us an opportunity to have this function here. It is really a continuation of the bond that we alumni have with the alma mater. And thank you so much, and I would like to sign off with the hope that this book inspires the current and future Ajinkan generations to follow the footsteps of the alumni in whatever they have been able to achieve in their life. Thank you so much, and I declare this function closed. Thank you.